All right, guys, this is Revolver X4 by BAK Industries. If you want to learn how to put this on here, stick around in this video. I will show you how to do that. This is for Toyota Tacoma 2020 TRD 4x4 Sport with a 5-foot bed. Stick around. Hey guys, Tim Avery here with Visual Testments. So this is the BAK's Revolver X4 rolling hardcover. Actually, my pastor friend of mine had this cover, and he said this is probably one of the best ones he's had. He's always had a truck cover. I wanted to see how well this fit on here and how effective it is on 2020 Toyota Tacoma TRD 4x4 Sport. All right, let's see what we got in this box. So we got our instructions here of some sort. Instructions. I think this is all of our hardware. All right, it says recommended tools here: 9/16 wrench or socket, 1/2 wrench or socket. So you got your liners, or your weather stripping there, and you'll right up here those little 4 lines looks like your little bumper things that go on the back of that, so that way it doesn't bump against your window right there when you roll it all the way back. And then you've got your clips underneath there. Looks like there's 8 of those, and it just kind of tells you everything you have there. And then of course your slides tracks that goes along the side of each side of the bed rail there. So let's get this unpacked here. All right, looks like I got it all unboxed right now. So according to the instructions, I need to have a 9/16 and a 1/2 inch socket. So I've got that laying there in my knife. So we're just gonna go through these instructions to make sure we have it all right. We'll say, as this unboxing video goes, this is pretty heavy duty. I love how heavy and stout this the aluminum is on this. These rails, they're super tough, and you could tell that they've some high grade quality aluminum, and so I like the release on these things. And this spring, it looks pretty stout and heavy duty. So this Revolver X4 aluminum is well packaged when it comes in here. It comes with straps to, once you have this secured and rolled up like this on your bed of your truck, these straps are there to help secure that into place. And I love that. And these little bumper guards here for your windows is what I read on the or actually they go on the back of that, I guess. And then this little bumper barrier helps it from, when it's all the way rolled back and you're riding with it open, it protects your windows from, you know, getting damaged. So I do love that aspect. And these little weather seals, they'll go into stripping. They give you 2 different types from what I understand on the video. Is if you're just going straight from no liner in the bed of your truck, then you use the thicker one. But if you do have some type of liner, you use the thinner one that they give you. And so that's all in the details here when it comes to which one you use on step 1. All right, first the instruction says just the first little bit of rubbing alcohol on this top part, because I got to rub this, clean off this little piece of bulkhead right here. Just clean this off. That's where that's going to rest. The only thing I have a question about too is that since this was kind of added on, yeah, as you can see there, that's not really the official like bulkhead, I guess. I mean, this is kind of like got this gritty texture. I just wonder how well this is going to actually stick and adhere to that along here, because I'm supposed to just align this on top of this bulkhead, so that way that provides a proper seal for this. So I'm curious about this because it says to use this thinner weather stripping or along this bulkhead when it comes to having a drop-in liner already attached to your truck. So that's just something that I'm curious about, see how well this sticks. So let's see. It's just a heads up. If you're doing this for your Toyota Tacoma, you need to know this, that you need to have a special tool to remove that headliner piece off the top. You need this T30 Torx driver to remove it. See, I don't have a T, that's a T25. And I need a T30. And so to remove these screws, to take this bulkhead piece off the back. So this piece right here, This is which I just shot. You got to take this off and put the little foam clips in the inside of here, so that this way sits on a little bit better, snugger, and more sealed better. But see these screws under here? These screws right there, that's a T30 bolt, and you got to get those out of there. But see, this is a T25, and I need a T30. So if you're considering this for your Toyota Tacoma, this is a 2020. It said 2016 and up. You got to have to remove that piece. So just a heads up. All right, guys, I'm back. I got my T30 screw, torque screw that I had to get for these mounts, so I can take this off. That way I can put in these end caps, these foam caps that go on the end of these rails here. So, and that was a special note just for the Tacoma. You see here, it says you have to add them on the end cap of this rail system here. So and I have to take that off, put that on there, and then resume work. So let me go ahead and do that. Pretty much no problem. So that comes off of there, and I've got to put that foam piece on that. Okay, so it had a gap before, and now that's kind of got a nice foam sealant right there. So I don't know if you can see that or not. Just it pretty much seals that gap and makes it a nice snug fit for, I guess, just kind of waterproofing it or weatherproofing it, I guess. So it's just a nice little gap. So let me put this back on here. I don't have the bolts on here yet. I still have them laying right here, and I'll get these back on here. Got that on there nice and secure. All right, so now just specifically for Toyota Tacoma 16 Plus, this is the addendum, if you will, specifically for this truck. We did this already. We have to remove the factory installed accessory track system, which I absolutely love, because these rails, you can slide these back and forth and place them anywhere. I have to take this track system off of there, and I have to do that, which I hate to part ways with it, but to do that, same T30 bolts on either end. So there's probably 4. One there, one here, and then one on the ends. Okay, so once you got those 4 screws removed, that track system should come straight off like it just did for me. And then we just got to do the other side, and that's it. Next, you're gonna take these clamps here. I'm gonna slide them down this rail. And the pictures are pretty good. You see this little track right here, it just feeds into there. It kind of just, see how it just fits in there like that? I'm just gonna slide those in there like this. Since I have a 5-foot bed, it just says to use 4. So I'm gonna slide each of these clamps down in here on each side. Slide all these down here. Okay, now that I've got these slid on here on this track, it does say to make sure you have them lined up to your factory holes. So it says align S-clamps to match the spacings of the original factory track system mounting holes. So we're gonna line those up, and then inside the bed of the truck, and then we're gonna put our bolts in there and just kind of line in there. So as long as you're following this guide here, you should be good. Okay, so these are my factory drilled holes here, and here. And I just got my reel in here, so I just want to make sure that these, once I have this snug all the way up to the top, that these are slid in place to match my holes. Okay, got all those lined up. Let's get those bolted in, and we'll do both sides. So what I was saying is that you want to have this piece right here, this front end piece, all the way up against your bulkhead here, and then your brackets you can line them up a little bit better. See how I got my gap on that end? I've got to slide, see that gap right there I got to slide that up more, and then line my holes up. So let's do that. All right, so I got quite a gap here. So I'm sliding this all the way up. Get rid of this gap that was right here. And then also I want you guys to take note of this little rubber seal here. See how this is starting to get like pinched a little bit. Once you have that snug all the way up there, just make sure that that's not getting tucked like it is right here. See how it's kind of laying flat up in here, and then as it gets right here, it starts to get tucked a little bit. You don't have to worry about that until you get it screwed down, but I would encourage you to make sure it's laying flat, so that way you got a good proper seal. See how it's crimping right there, and then it gets better right there. See that? That's good. Then it starts to tuck right in here. So just something to keep in mind of. I know I am. Make sure you got no junk in there either. So all right, so we're gonna bolt this down using, it says, mount the revolver rail into the original factory mounting holes using supplied long torque screws through the middle slot of the S-clamp. Okay, so we're going to put that right there in the middle of the S-clamp, which is through here, the S-clamp. So this is the S-clamp that they supplied us, and so we're going to put this hole, the bolt right through there, that's on the bulkhead. So it should, you see that hole right in through here, right in there, and just put our bolts in there. The ones that they gave us. So they gave us short ones and they gave us long ones. So I'm going to take this up and just use these long screws. Can I use the ones they supplied to us? I mean, the original Tacoma ones. They look to be about the same length, but they should just be like a 1/4 inch longer. So I would use the ones that they supplied to us to do that. Okay. I'm not going to tighten them all the way down. I'm just gonna put them in there loosely. You should. Okay, now they got that one in there. I've got this flush with the bulkhead. I'll go ahead and tighten it. Okay. Good deal. I got this all in here, so let's do the other side. Again, you should have all these already aligned. And make sure that this is flush to the top. Okay, so interesting problem I'm having here, which I didn't have a problem on this side. I've run out of track space right here, and this hole's not aligning. So I don't know if you're running into that problem on the back end. See these? No problem aligning. Okay, I am flush all the way up top here, and I don't know if you can see that in there or not, but I can't slide this further back because I'm out of track space under here. You see that? I'm all out of track space. I can't slide it any further than that. That's the end. For whatever reason, I'm out. So let me look into my instructions, see if I can adjust something up here. Okay guys, looked into the paperwork. This is a Saturday, so I can't call the number because from Monday through Friday. But so here's the problem. The only way to line up these holes on this left rail is this to have this significant gap. Now I can put the weather stripping that the other thick weather stripping that they offer to there, and this is just weird. It's just on the left side. The right side, no problem. All the holes aligned, no problems drilling them in there. Not drilling the holes, but you know, placing the torque screws in there. But see, these holes do not align. See, I can slide this over where it's supposed to be. I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't have the right angle on it, but that hole under there lines. That one lines. This one does too. I I can slide this over because it's, you know, I still got plenty of rail. But when I get to the end, I am like a 1/4 inch off and I am out of rail. I can't slide that rail any further along. So I need some significant help with this. So the only way to rectify that is if I slide this whole thing back some, so that way that back hole aligns, and then slide these other over. But then I have that significant gap up here. You know, I have a significant gap right here, which is problematic. So I'm gonna have to reach out to these guys to figure out what the heck happened to the left rail, why that's not lining up correctly. So I just cut 2 pieces off of this foam that they gave us, and just I'm gonna put that in that gap right there. Now that I've got that on there, I you know, obviously peeled the back off there and got that stuck on there. So now I can force that back. So I had to line this up on the back end to match this one that was off. So that way when I close my tailgate and I roll down the actual cover, that it lines up perfectly on the back end and not kind of mismatch it, because you can't have obviously one rail sticking out further than the other. And so I had to make sure that was lined up perfectly. I'll just slide those brackets back to line up, and then should be good. Okay, now that I've got these matched up towards the end, I just want to show you that this does close still. See? Still closes perfectly. And then the end of the track will come right here on this. So you can slide this back to bump up against this once we get there. So, okay, all right. So our next step actually is that we can put our accessory rail back in here. And actually, this goes back onto this track on the bottom here. We're actually going to use the supplied short screws that they gave us to mount these back on there. So these little guys right here, I'll loosen these. All right, now once you get them all in there, then you just tighten them all down. We'll do the other side. All right, if you're using a power tool, or if you have a torque wrench, that's fine. But if you don't have a torque wrench, just get your regular socket wrench here, and I've got the extension on here for the T30. And I'm just going back in there and just hand torquing these, because they have to be down tight for the specific torque rating. You can find that in the descriptions. That's what I'm doing right now, just kind of going back in there, making sure that these are well torqued down tight, because some of them were kind of loose even after the power drill. So just make sure you got these torqued down to the specifications. Okay, now we need to put this buckle strap in there. This is the strap that holds down the bed cover down. So you just want to make sure that you loosen this bolt all the way up, and then you're going to slide it in your accessory rack here. You need to take this little cap off first. It's on there, and now you just push it down and it comes off. The same thing, so you're going to slide in there like that, put all this upward like this. Should just slide on that rail there, just like that. Okay. Then you're gonna put your end cap back on, and then you're gonna slide this all the way back, far back as it goes. And then you're gonna tighten this down. Finger tighten it first, and then you're gonna use your, I think you use a 1/2-inch socket. I want to make sure that your strap is perpendicular, and as you tighten this down, just hold your strap up. Make sure your strap is up and down like this, and not like cocked to the side. Make sure it's straight up and down. All right, let's do the other side. All right, next step is we're gonna put this up on the rail, and then make sure it's on there evenly. Rides the rails evenly before we can roll it out, and then we got to roll this all the way back is what step 8 is. So if you're on the addendum for the Toyota Tacoma, now you just skip over to 8 on the original plan. So that's what we're on right now, step number 8, doing this, and we're going to roll this back and making sure that this is lined up perfectly. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of all the packing material. So we're gonna do that. Okay, let's get rid of this packing material. The next step, number 9. Now we're gonna do this. We're gonna take these bolts out of this packaging here, and come up closer, please. And then, so we're gonna take it out of this bolting here. Take these 2 bolts, and then we're gonna slide in this key slot here. One there, one there, and then we're gonna do the other side. All right, so now that you've got these 2 bolts in here slid into the key slots, this is gonna ride just like that onto the bottom, and then you're gonna secure that with a washer nut on the underside, so that way it captures, it secures to this mounting bracket right here. So the screws will fit in there, the bolts are there, and then you just secure it with this bolt on the underneath side. Okay, you got this on here loosely, both sides. Remember, you got the rubber washer and the metal washer fitting like that. We're going to secure that loosely so that way we can slide and check that, and we're going to do both sides. All right, so now that you've got those loosely underneath here attached, next you want to make sure that this rail right here is sitting in this track going all the way down here, and then it rides evenly up and down. So you're going to roll it all the way down and roll it all the way back. So we're going to do that now, and we'll make the adjustments as we need. And so it looks like it's landing pretty good, and we'll just take it slow and just roll it all the way down, all the way towards the end. You can roll it back. And from the other side, let's check the other side. So let's go over here, make sure the other side's doing the same exact thing as that side is. Let's start from right beginning there. Okay, so let's go ahead and all the way, make sure it's kind of catching a little bit on that end. So there we go. Pretty good. Catching just on some spots. This side just kind of catches a little bit. The other side, check that. So you want to keep doing that back and forth, just making sure it rides. So you're going to shift it back and forth a little bit just to make sure it has a nice smooth rolling in and out. Okay, if you feel like you have your rails and your cover lined up properly, next you want to make sure that your slam latch is lined up correctly and it latches correctly on both ends, and it locks good. And then obviously you want to recheck that with your release handles right here on both sides. Make sure your slam latches are both good. The lock's in place. So, all right. Also, as you're coming towards the end of this, make sure that this is flush with the rail. See how this is not flush? So if you come around the other angle, see how that's not flush? Come even over the top. See how that's not flush? You want to kind of push it back, and see how it's not. You just want to wiggle it back so that way this right here is flush on both ends. Okay. And then when you know you have it flush on both ends, you know it's not cockeyed, it's not you know, off on any side. So okay, now once you got that all flush on this end, then you can roll it all the way back, and then you want to tighten it down. Now that you have it in the secure place that you want, so just go back under here. Now that you have that was once loose, now you want to tighten these fittings underneath down so that way you have it securely in place. All right, we're just gonna do one more test just to make sure all this is good. All those are fit in place. All right, so now you just wanna make sure you roll this back, making sure it's completely flush. And then you latch that down, making sure everything fits properly. And you should have a nice, good seal. Next, we're gonna do this step number 18 here, putting on these foam things up against the window of the truck. So where you feel like you're going to have a hard time keeping that aluminum to hitting that truck side. So we're going to place that one here and just kind of figure out where you might want that. The straps do a pretty good job of keeping it in place anyway, and you can see how far away this is from my window anyway, but you know, it's always better to have and not need and to need and not have it. So I'm going to kind of guesstimate. I'm going to put one right there and maybe one at the top, so that way if it does roll, it will roll into the window and it'll bump that right there. So that's kind of where I'm gonna place these. Place this right about there on that little track. Do my best to kind of keep that flush. Kind of mimic the other side there. That way if this does roll out, it'll be just fine. Okay. Little side note on this clip here, I will say this is kind of a little bit of booger to try to get this in here and out here. So just know that that's going to be a little bit of a challenge to get in there. They work great, but you know, just give yourself a little extra time to get that secure in there. I don't know what they could do to make it better, but I love the double strap on this, so to tighten that down to make sure that doesn't go anywhere. So just make sure you use that the best of your ability. All right, thanks. But you see how some of this is kind of tucked in here like that. We just have a little flat piece just to kind of get that untucked there if you want to do that everywhere on the edge if that bothers you, to make sure you got a good tight seal. So just work on that all the way around. All right, guys, step number 19, it says, and if you notice some wrinkles in your seal here on your cover, that you can get those wrinkles out just by leaving it in the sun, or you can use a heat gun or a hair dryer to kind of expedite that. So just kind of get those wrinkles out. I'm going to choose just kind of leave this out in the sun and just let it kind of just naturally unwrinkle itself. But other than that, guys, we are done. Thank you for watching this. Hit like, subscribe, share this video, and we'll see you on the next one.